All right, all right. It looks like we are live. What is going on, Bri Hive? Today we have some good cases to go over, some new cases to go over, and I'm super excited to get into the details. If you're following me on Twitter, or you've seen my YouTube community post, or you just looked at the title and thought that this topic would be interesting, you already know that we have a new lawsuit starring Zac Efron and Netflix for another trademark lawsuit. We're going to get into that. And we also have another lawsuit against Snoop Dogg for alleged trafficking. So today we are probably going to get a yellow flag. And for those of you who do not know, what I mean when I say we're going to get a yellow flag, it just means that YouTube is probably going to limit the ads on my video or deem it non-monetizable because of the topic that we're talking about. Because yes, we are talking about trafficking humans in a sexual way. So it's going to be very hard for me to avoid some of the wording that can get me in trouble here on YouTube. So we're going to get into all of that. But first, before we start that, if you are watching live, go ahead and drop in the comments or in the chat where you're watching from. If you're watching on the replay, go ahead and drop in the comment section where you're watching from. And if you are here live and you don't know who I am, or just as a brief introduction, I am Boss Attorney Bri. I am a licensed California attorney where I practice family law and trademark law here in the sunny state of California. Although it has been pretty gloomy today, which is why I think that my lighting is a little bit off, but that's beside the point. On this channel, we cover celebrity lawsuits, trademark lawsuits, copyright lawsuits, and really whatever we feel like covering here on the Bri Hive. Go ahead and drop in the chat where you guys are watching it from, and go ahead and drop in the chat, say hello. Let's get to know each other. We like to have friends here in the live stream because we like to do our little introductions. If you're watching live or you're watching on the replay, go ahead and hit the like button to help us out in the algorithm. That way we can get some new friends here in the live stream so we can have more people to chat with, right? Let's get more people to chat with. All right, we got some comments coming in for the people that's watching live. And we have Mr. CKB saying all the way on the East Coast, BK to be exact. Well, welcome to the live stream. I think this is a new name that I haven't seen before. So welcome here to the live stream. And thank you for watching over from the East Coast. We got a lot of people from the East Coast. A lot of the law tubers are on the East Coast, so maybe we just like the law in the East Coast, right? We have Pan the Pone. Oh, let me see, Panther Pony. Okay. Hi from New Jersey. Welcome. Also on the East Coast, we have Who Says Kate, a moderator and member of the channel, saying, hey, Boss Attorney Bri, and dropping us a B emoji. We have Nasrat Jahan watching from Scarborough, Toronto. Love this. Well, welcome into the live chat. I think this is also a new name that I haven't seen before. So welcome. I hope that these cases are everything that we're hoping them to be. I did briefly look at the Zac Efron one. I haven't looked at the Snoop Dogg one all the way because we have actually covered one of this lady's other filing on this channel before. So we'll get into that in a moment. So I didn't go over it, so I will be live reacting with the rest of you as well. We have a Seven Sar watching from South Bend, Indiana. Well, welcome to the live stream. We have Who Said Kate saying hot, sunny Los Angeles. I do not even want to know what the temperature is outside. I did go outside today to go to the mailbox, but I don't remember if it was that hot or not. I'm pretty sure it was hot, but I try to forget it. We have Cheerful Bacon saying hello from Blaine, Washington. Just popping on before starting dinner. Well, I hope you have a wonderful, tasty dinner. I have no idea what I'm eating for dinner. Probably fish again. So thank you for jumping in. We have Alicia G watching from Yelm, Washington. I have never heard of Yelm before. The sun all came here. It's over 100. That's way too hot. I can feel you on that. And that is why I have been staying in the house so I can avoid the sun and have the air conditioner running. We have Mr. CKB as a rising 2L with my pad out taking notes. Wink. Oh, so you're studying, learning some things about these cases. Yeah. We have a wide array today. We got trademarks going and we also got trafficking going. So you're going to get a lot out of this live stream. And saying new subscriber, well, welcome to the Bri Hive. That's what we like to call ourselves here in the chat. We go live every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4:30 Pacific Standard Time. So welcome to the Bri Hive. Welcome to the channel. We have Hella Swanky saying, hey, Bri. Hey, Bri Hive, how is everyone? Yes, how is everyone doing? It's Tuesday. We're almost to the hump day. We're almost to Wednesday. So how is the week going for everyone else? All right, and we have Sage Moon. Welcome back to the live stream saying, hey, Bri Hive. Looking forward to listening and to learn all about these cases with you, Bri. And welcome to everyone who is joining in or new to the Bri Hive. Yes, of course. Welcome, welcome. And for those of you who are watching live or on the replay, really everybody, go ahead and hit the like button to help us out in the algorithm. So like I said, we can get new friends. We just welcome Mr. CKB, new friend here in the Bri Hive. So let's go ahead and hit the like button so we can get more new friends. And we have Davs B saying, what's buzzing, y'all? What's up? We buzzing in the Bri Hive. We're going to get into it. And before we get into the cases today, of course, we're going to do our little icebreaker. Let's figure out if this person is the a-hole. But first, of course, your girl forgot to share the screen. So let's get that all set up today so we can see what's going on in the streets. All right. So some of you see my tweets, some of you see my community posts. There's a lot of stuff going on in the legal streets. There were several cases that we could have covered today. If you missed the intro, this is like the late intro, second intro of the day. We're going to be covering Zac Efron and Netflix trademark lawsuit for basically stealing someone else's name. And then we're going to cover Snoop Dogg and the fact that he is being accused of trafficking not once, not twice, but this is the third time the charm. She is filing this complaint for a third time after she has voluntarily dismissed it 2 other times. So let's see if her allegations get any better on this case. But before we do that, of course, like I said, we're going to jump into our icebreaker. Our little baby bees, our baby bees, do they go in like a little sack first? We might call it like larva. Are baby bees called larva too, or is that just flies? Let me see. What is a baby bee called? We might call it that. What is a baby bee? Researching on the live stream. Baby bee called, not just a baby. And go ahead and drop it in the chat if you guys know. Baby bees are called a larva. So larvae, that's multiple. So we'll call it, should we call it the larva? Let's start the larva. I don't know if I like that much, but we're going to call it the larva for now. Or maybe, can we call it nectar? Because it's like a little warm up. Nectar maybe. We'll call it, we'll figure it out. But we need something for our icebreaker name. So let's go ahead and jump over to our Am I the A-hole for being upset that my cousin stole my business idea? And for those of you that are new or those of you that just want a brief introduction of the channel, we do cover a lot of business type topics. So this one is going to be business related. Let me know whether you think that this person is the a-hole. And of course, we're going to do a poll. So let me put that together. Am I the a-hole for being upset? I don't think this one will be as triggering as our last 2 openings. So hopefully this one doesn't get as heated as the last 2 that we have covered. So am I the a-hole for being upset that my cousin stole my business idea? What do you guys think so far in the chat? Do you think you can really steal a business idea? Or do you think this person is tripping and we don't even really need to go over this? So we are going to say yes. Yes, the a-hole. We're going to say no, not the a-hole. Oops, here we go. And then we're going to say neutral a-hole energy. I'm getting better at typing with the mic in between my hands, and I am quite proud of myself. So, guys, make sure that you actually listen to the story before you make a vote. I will be watching. Okay, let's see what they are saying here on the Am I the A-hole? I, 20 female, have been in the process of opening a business for the past year. I have spent months planning, getting organized financially, quotations, getting small business loans, and finding distributors, and am in the final stages of locking down my location. Yesterday, I found out that my cousin, 34 female, so 14 years older than the original poster, has decided to open a competing business with the exact same concept the next town over. Now, this is kind of similar to the case that we covered last week with the cookies and how they worked for the company and then they turned around and opened their own similar company with similar marketing strategy, the Dirty Dough and Crumble Cookie case. So she's basically saying she put in all this work to start her business, and now her older cousin is coming to start what she's calling a competing business in the next town over. So pretty close, not states apart, but the next town over. So, okay, she informed my dad that she knew of my plans and thought the business would be very successful, so she decided to open one as well and asked him for advice. My dad proceeded to give her all of my research and detailed list of my distributors. Why would she give that to her dad? Okay, I found out about this conversation today through my mom and am extremely upset. I confronted my dad about what he did and have been told by both my parents that I am overreacting, as she will be opening her business in a different city and is not technically my direct competition. While I understand that her business will not be my direct competition, I am still extremely upset that my concept and hard work in building the foundation for the business have been given away for free. This is sounding eerily similar to the cookie case. Okay. So I have let my dad know that I am very upset with what he has done. He has always been too nice and views that views this as just helping out his niece. But I don't believe this information was his to share. I am also not speaking with my cousin or her family and plan on cutting her out of my life. Over a business? Okay. My parents insist it is not a big deal and believe I am overreacting. The news has spread to the rest of my extended family, who, for the most part, believe I am overreacting as well. The fact that the way she is spelling believe is really bothering me. Okay. So, what do you guys think so far? Do you think she's the a-hole for being upset right now? She has an edit that says a couple people were asking why my dad had access to all of my information and why I was open about my business to my family. I was under the impression that my extended family did not know about my business plan, as I had not told them personally. My dad, through his bragging, told them at a family party I did not attend. I did not find out about this until the day I found out about my cousin's plan. As far as my dad having access to my information, I simply trusted him. As young as I am, I knew getting my finances in order would be difficult, especially considering I am currently paying for my last semester of school. My dad has some experience in the business world, so I went to him for advice and guidance. He helped me with some of the paperwork and with other concerns of mine along the process. So she just explained why she went ahead and told her dad all of her information. Should she have given him the list of her distributors? Probably not. Go ahead and vote in the chat whether you think that this girl is the a-hole for basically cutting off her cousin because she stole her business idea or copied her business idea. And when I first read this, I said, yeah, you're kind of an a-hole, get over it. But as I read it again and I realized it was just the next town over and not, states away. Originally, I thought it was states away. And the fact with like ideas, those cannot be protected as intellectual property. Not only that, but I'm sure there are already other business out there just like the one that she's making. But I'm thinking that it's kind of leaning along those lines, like that Crumble case with Dirty Dough, and that is such a similar business structure, which we don't know exactly what business structure she has. I can see why she would be upset. Like, unfair competition is just one town over, so people can come across both businesses. It's not like she's in California and her cousin is in New York. No, you just drive a couple of minutes and you might run into the same thing. So I think I'm changing my mind. When I originally read it, I was like, you can't protect ideas, whatever, you're the a-hole. But now that I'm thinking about it and it's a little closer in the unfair business practices, I'm leaning more towards not the a-hole. Her cousin, her dad should have asked her before sharing all her information. And her cousin, who is 34, should have thought of her own business idea. So let me go ahead and see what the chat says, and then we're going to go ahead and see what the poll said. All right, we have Deacon Fatal. Welcome back to the live stream, a member of the channel, and I believe a moderator as well, saying, hi, Boss Attorney Bri, and chat. And then we have Deacon Fatal said, did she copyright it, patent it, or trademark? You cannot copyright, patent, or trademark a business idea. Now, if she had some type of machine that she built, then she could get a patent for it. If she had a cool, clever slogan or business name or something like that, she can get a trademark for it. But as far as copyright goes, she really doesn't have a claim to anything. It looks like she's distributing something, so she's most likely not going to have a copyright claim unless she does like a super unique logo or something of that nature. But just the idea, no. That's why we're seeing Crumble Cookie, Dirty Dough, and Crave all doing the same thing. So, and other businesses like that as well. If you could copyright something like a business idea, you wouldn't see Walmart and Target. So no, you can't, unfortunately, protect your idea, but you can protect like the name and the goodwill of it. So if she had a trademark or a patent because of something that required those things, then she could protect it. But the actual type of business, no, you can't do that. Deacon Fatal says, as you should be. We have Tanya D, a moderator and member of the channel, coming back and saying, hey, happy Tuesday, Bri and Bri Hive. Welcome back to the live stream, Tanya. Nice to have you here. We have Dav's Beat saying, even if she didn't, it's foul for her cousin to undercut her and steal her idea. And that's what I'm leaning more towards now. At first, I was more along the copyright. You don't really have a claim to it. But knowing that it's the next town over, she's your little baby cousin, like, you should have at least let her start off first before you start directly competing with her. And also the dad saying not direct competition. A lot of times when starting a business right now, you're marketing online a lot of the time. So you're going to be competing with each other online, trying to get the same customers in the same area to come towards your business. And then you're just one town away. So I feel her pain now. I do feel her pain. We have Deacon Fatal saying, what is the bid? She didn't really say what it was, but it did say that she has distributors. So I'm assuming that she's selling some type of product that either she's making and getting sources for it, or she's just selling a product that someone else already sells. E-commerce, most likely. Deacon Fatal says, this is almost giving me pink sauce vibes. Did pink sauce steal from someone else? I've been seeing a lot coming out about the pink sauce. I've been avoiding the videos because of like the fake death thing, but now I'm learning that the sauce is also not good the way that she's preparing it. So we could see a lawsuit coming from that momentarily. Dav's Beat says, why would her dad give it away? Right. It was I guess it was his business, but it was really none of his business, right? Deacon Fatal says it wasn't. I don't know exactly what you're referring to there. Little Galaxy says, petty, other business in a different town. Yeah, and it's right next door. I think that's the part that's getting me now. The next town over, maybe states away, not a big deal, but the next town over. But I can't help but also think like a lot of people are starting the same type of businesses right now. But I guess I can see how it could be underhanded, undercut it when it's coming from your own family member. And it's like, oh, I heard you're doing the business, so I'm just going to copy you and do it too. I think that is kind of messed up. Deacon Fatal says, okay, I have a theory. This has happened often, and now she has just over it and went off. That could be a possibility too of the cousin always copying her. The only thing that I would say to that is the cousin's like almost double her age. So if she's been copying a child for this long, I can see why she's annoying, but I have a feeling that this is just like one of the first things that she's done, because I feel like she would have mentioned that she's already copying her. But we don't know their lives. But I can definitely see that as, oh, maybe she went to school for a certain thing, so then the cousin decided to go back to school for it. Or maybe the cousin, I guess you can be jealous of your younger baby cousin. I guess you can. Maybe. Dallas B says, I wonder what the business is. Yeah, I have no idea. She just said they have the same distributor now. So they're really going to be selling the same exact things. Oh, that's ridiculous. I can only imagine that it's selling products though when you're having a distributor. Dabs B says, so far, I don't think she is. They stole her business and distributors. Yeah. The distributors, that's a competitive advantage. Exactly. And she didn't have to put in the work and research and years. I think the girl said she had been researching for years, or for the past year. So 1 year of her life that she put all her dedicated time, money, effort into while she was going to school, and her dad just gives it away. It's not good. We have Deacon Fatal saying maybe the dad was thinking more like, well, the money will stay in the family, but still, I'm sure he's not getting money directly from the niece. Well, I'm sure he's not getting money directly from his daughter either. We have Jane saying, hey, Bri and Bri Hive, hello and welcome back to the live stream. We're not talking about Erica Jane today, so you didn't pop in on one of those again. Tanya D says, I accidentally closed the poll, but I don't blame her for being upset. Yeah, I think a lot of people are leaning that way. We're going to get to the poll results in a minute. Deacon Fatal says, thank you. I had no clue. Tanya D says, welcome back, Jane. Deacon Fatal says, okay, right on. I learn something new every day. Yes, exactly. That's what we're here for. We're here to learn and have fun. Learn and have fun. I want to get to a couple more chats and then we're going to get to the poll, okay? Little Galaxy says she's running a business with feelings and talks too much, doomed for failure. That could be an issue, but I don't blame her. She's only 20 years old, and she needed her dad's help. So I understand why she did tell her dad things, but like giving him the list of distributors, that's a little bit too far. So I would agree with you on that part there. But just like asking for advice and things, I think that was pretty reasonable for her to do. Her getting so upset that her cousin is doing it, just do it better. But it's hard to do it better when she has all of your distributors. Like, you're doing the same thing. So I feel for her there. Yvette says her dad was darn wrong for sharing her business idea. I honestly, let me say this. I don't think the dad was wrong for sharing the business idea, or maybe like the type of business. But if he went back and like told her the details, which he did, he gave the distributors and how she's going to run it and things like that, where she got her loans from, everything, that I think that the dad was wrong for that. But as far as just saying, oh, I'm excited, my daughter's going to start a eyelash company business, I don't think that's bad, but to give out the details, that's the bad part for sure. Dasby says distribution streams is how Walmart bested Target and Kmart over the years. They're all selling the same things. Yeah, exactly. They do all sell the same things. It's just about pricing. I was supposed to do a cookie stream Sunday, but I didn't have the ingredients. So I went and got the ingredients, and I actually went to like a Safe Smart or something like that, one of those stores. And I went there and they were like $5 for flour. And I'm like, oh no, I know if I go to Walmart, the flour is going to be $2.50. So I went to Walmart, and when I was in the store, I'm like, oh, I can just buy it because I'm saving time and I'm saving gas. But after like I had 3 things and it was like $15, I was like, no, let me just go to Walmart. And then ended up going to Walmart and getting like 7 or 8 things for $20. I was like, no, that's too much. Deacon Fatal says, I just found out that today, because the only thing changed was the dragon fruit. Oh, you guys are talking about the pink sauce. Yeah, I don't know. I might look into it. I've seen a couple of videos come out about it. I've seen a couple of TikToks about it, but I have not dove into it yet. Matt Bond, welcome back to the live stream, saying, I hate people stealing my ideas. I have to learn to shut up. That's one thing about business. You can't always tell people what you got going on. Little Galaxy said, only hearing one side of the story. Exactly. We don't know what maybe the cousin was already thinking about doing it. And then this girl got ahead and she's like, hey, it is going to be profitable. Let me start to. I don't know. I'm trying to give her the benefit of the doubt. Deacon says, okay. Oh, okay. If we know where the family was from, that would help me a bit more clues. Yeah, if you can figure out, there's so many people starting businesses, so I don't even know if that will help us with the internet, all the internet businesses and things. So Deacon Fatal says, it's giving me Succession vibes. That shows. She might take over. She could have just asked. Well, no, let's not ask to work for her and then be like Crumble in Dirty Dough, where you just stole the business right from under them from learning it by working there. Little Galaxy says distributors would be regional. Everybody would use them. Yeah. Yeah, but I think a lot of people starting businesses are getting things from overseas. At least that's what I see when I watch like how to start an e-commerce business and stuff. A lot of people are getting overseas. So I'm not too deep into that because I don't sell e-commerce, but that would be interesting. Yvette says, yes, I meant to share all the details. Oh, yeah, as far as being messed up for her dad to do that, for sure. And just like, here's the distributors. Go ahead, have a great time. We have Jane saying she is young and ambitious. She has plenty of time to start over with something new and lessons learned about family and business. That is a good observation. I think a lot of people have pointed that out as well. Deacon says, pricing, customer service, all of that can have an effect on a biz, especially when starting a new one. Well, now the cousin knows that she can just go to her uncle and he's going to give her every step that his daughter is making, especially because the family is telling her that she's overreacting. So that probably means that dad is going to do it again. So let's go ahead and check out the poll here. Let's see. We have, am I the a-hole for being upset that my cousin stole my business idea? We have 15% saying, yes, you're the a-hole. 59% saying, no, you're not the a-hole. And 26% saying neutral a-hole energy. I think that's the most neutral that we have gotten since we started doing this. But not the a-hole win. So she had a little bit of justification. I think because the dad went too far. He just went a little bit too far by giving out all of the information. So that is that. We're going to jump right into, I think we're going to do Zac Efron first because it's a trademark case. And then we're going to get into Snoop Dogg's trafficking case again. Like, I cannot get over that this is the third time the charm. She has sued for this before. So let's go ahead and check out Zac Efron and actually Netflix. They're on the same team. I don't know if that was confusing in my post, but Zac Efron and Netflix are the ones being sued by this company called Down to Earth Organics. For those of you who do not know, Zac Efron is an American actor. He was all on High School Musical. That's where I know him from. And basically, I guess he has a Netflix show out where it's called like Down to Earth as well. And they're like traveling the world doing organic things. I don't know. The first time I heard of it was when I found this case. So anyways, the name of the show is basically allegedly infringing on this other entertainment company called Down to Earth Organics. And we're going to check it out directly from the horse's mouth. Remember, guys, we are going over the complaint. So these are just factual allegations and they haven't been proven to be true yet. But we're going to look at it in the light most favorable to the plaintiff because that's what the courts do. So assuming that the things are true, Zac Efron and Netflix can be in a bit of trouble. So let me go ahead and make this bigger. We have in the Southern District of New York, we have Down to Earth Organics LLC suing Zac Efron, Darren Olean, Netflix Inc. the Nacelle Company, Ninja Runnin' Wild Productions. What a name, Ninja Runnin' Wild Productions. And John Doe. So just basically anybody who we forgot to name that should be included in the case. We have the case number, and this is a complaint for infringement, unfair competition, and deceptive and unfair trade practices. We have the plaintiffs suing all of the defendants. They go into jurisdiction and venue. We're going to skip that part because it's not at issue right now. We have the parties. Let's see they're going to explain who they are because they're going to have to boast about themselves. Okay, and then they're going to tear down all of the defendants. Let me know if you guys are watching live or you're watching on the replay. Let me know if you heard of this case. I just found it yesterday. I found it yesterday. It was actually filed on June 22nd. So it was filed on Friday. People sue so quick. People sue very quick. So let me know if you guys heard of this case before I posted it. Let's get into the background facts. We have DTE has operated, and remember, guys, this is the Down to Earth Organic Company, has operated and offered DTE products and other products under the Down to Earth mark since 2018. Not a very old trademark. They are not incontestable yet. They need one more year to be incontestable. The products offered range from fruit and herb infused bottled teas to t-shirts to podcasts, collectively DTE products. And so originally I was like, this is not that big of a deal because they're selling t-shirts and bottles and food. But the reason why it is going to be an issue is because they also do podcasts, which will also be in the entertainment class, just like Zac Efron's TV show will be as well. So let's check out what else they have to say. On August 2nd, 2017, DTE filed an application with the USPTO to trademark Down to Earth for clothing. The application for registration got approved on May 14th, 2019. They attached the registration to this complaint. In April 2018, DTE filed a trademark registration of Down to Earth in Class 29 for fruits and nuts and snack bars, and the mark is now listed on the principal register. So it got registered. Then on April 3rd, 2020, DTE filed the registration for the Down to Earth mark in Class 9 for podcast. Okay, podcast, not the entertainment class, but can still contradict. We have 38 for transmission of podcasts. Oh, here's the entertainment. And Class 41 for entertainment service through media on health, wellness, lifestyle, and travel. And then we have the first podcast of DTE on health, wellness, nutrition, lifestyle, hydration, meditation, and travel aired on April 23rd, 2020. In 2020. So this company actually did it right. Some of the other companies that we cover where they're like smaller brands, they don't file their trademarks. They don't file their trademarks early. They don't file their trademarks while they're doing the business. They only file the trademark once they realize that there is a bigger company also trying to use the same name. This happened with the skin trademark in Kim Kardashian. And this also happened with the rare beauty trademark with Selena Gomez. So now we have these people who have actually filed their trademark registrations. So they have a little bit of a better chance of those other cases that we have covered before. So let's see what else they're going to be alleging. They've now posted 65 podcasts on the topics that are available through a series of avenues online. Several years after DTE launched the multifaceted business, Netflix launched an online series entitled Down to Earth. No wonder I have never seen it. Do they have separate things for online Netflix versus the app? Probably not, huh? I've never heard of the show, but here we are being sued. According to its promotional materials, the primary topics of the Netflix Down to Earth series are wellness and travel. Defendants are all involved in the production and distribution of the Netflix Down to Earth series, which stars Zac Efron, and that is why he is mentioned here, because he's the face of the show. On information and belief, the Netflix Down to Earth series premiered on July 10th, 2020. In fact, 8 episodes involving the Netflix Down to Earth series involved topics of wellness and travel and were released by Netflix simultaneously on July 10th, 2020. After the podcast was in use and registered, for context, years after DTE first used the mark in Class 25 for clothing. On information and belief, a second season of the Netflix Down to Earth series is presently in production. I have literally never heard of this show. So this show has been out since 2020, and they're just now suing? Oh, wow. Okay. Therefore, the first airing of the Netflix Down to Earth series was several years after DTE's commencement of the use of the mark Down to Earth in 2018. The Netflix Down to Earth series became available well after DTE filed for trademark protection for DTE products and commenced offering and promoting its podcast on health, wellness, and travel. To create additional confusion and further tarnish plaintiff's marks, defendant Zac Efron has entered into a marketing campaign in which Netflix Down to Earth series was used to cross-promote Nature Valley snack bars on Zac Efron's personal Instagram. So they're basically also claiming some confusion with the Nature Valley because not only is Zac Efron starring in a TV show, which is entertainment, called Down to Earth, but he's also now promoting snack bars, which is one of the things that Down to Earth Organics actually sells, which can cause a little bit more confusion. So I see why they're suing it. However, I understand that they did file for the original trademark for the clothing in 2017 or 18. But were they really using it long enough before Zac Efron and them started to develop it? I understand that they got the registration in 2020 for the entertainment in the podcast class, but the mark is not incontestable at this point. So Zac Efron and Netflix can actually say, hey, we started developing this project in 2016. So actually, we're the winners. So who knows? But I don't think Netflix has the registration for an intent to use application, so they probably will not win on that. All right, so let's see here. Let's go back to the complaint. All right. As referenced above, DTE holds a trademark for Down to Earth in connection with Class 29, which includes natural snack bars, dried fruit, and other culinary items. DTE offers dried fruit and nut mixes. They spelled it wrong. We always have to point that out. They put new mixes instead of nut mixes on its website that falls within Class 29. The cross-promotion Efron campaign, which has had over 5 million views, is intended to create a down-to-earth brand by defendant Efron that infringes upon and dilutes DTE's marks, including in Class 29. Further, the Netflix I'm tired of saying down to earth. Further, the Netflix Down to Earth series provides an associated advisory service advising on wellness, which advisory service has been widely ridiculed by McGill University's Office of Science and Society as a substantially inaccurate or even potentially fraudulent for making damaging false nutrition claims. There has been actual confusion as to origins between DTE's and Netflix Down to Earth series as a result of the unauthorized use of the mark Down to Earth by defendants. Further, DTE and DTE's marks are being tarnished, blemished, and hurt, including capital raises by the inaccuracies and potentially fraudulent nature of the health and wellness information and claims of defendants in their Down to Earth series distributed through defendant Netflix. Notably, defendants did not contact plaintiff for permission to use the marks, even though a simple trademark search would have revealed plaintiff's prior intellectual property rights. Thus, the use of plaintiff's marks by defendants is intentional and not authorized. All right, so What do you guys think about that so far? My first thought on this is that they may not be able to do trademark infringement because if Zac Efron is not using the title of the show as a brand identifier or as a trademark, then it wouldn't necessarily be trademark infringement. So you cannot necessarily trademark the title of the book or the title of a show or a title of a movie. It has to be in a series for you to get a trademark. Now, in this instance, it is in a series because they are producing several shows under the name with different episodes. So Zac Efron could potentially get a trademark for this. So I see why they are suing for it. But they would have to try to prove that false designation of origin is one of the claims that they're suing for. They're suing for trademark infringement, all of the things. I don't know if I would consider this a strong case. Now, they are using the exact same name, which is Down to Earth, but I'm not sure where they're going to try to go. Like, I see where they're trying to go with it, but it doesn't really see, I guess it's more of the title. The title, that's what they're going for. I guess I don't like it, but they're doing it. They're spending the money doing it. So I guess it is definitely worth it for them. So we will see what comes of it. All right. So what are they suing for exactly? They have false designation of origin, basically making people believe that the shows are produced by the same people and that they're sponsoring the show. Then we have federal trademark infringement, which is basically you stole our name, which is the Down to Earth they're suing for. They have New York unfair competition. That would be basically having the same name and then covering basically the same things, which is health and wellness. And then we have Deceptive and Unfair Trade Practice Act. So again, deceiving consumers into thinking it's sponsored by the same person. What is going on with my computer here? I have no idea. All right. They're also suing for federal trademark infringement. Then we have, did they just reprint the same thing? New York unfair competition, deceptive and unfair trade practices. It either printed the same thing or my computer glitched and took us back up. All right. And then we have unjust enrichment. So basically that Netflix has made money off of this show because of being associated with the, with what is this place called? Down to Earth LLC. And so they're basically asking for damages. They want money. They want accounting to learn how much money they gained from this particular show. But I feel like that's pretty hard to prove because Netflix, you just pay for a monthly subscription. It'll be very hard to prove that. Well, I guess they would count how many people watch the show. That would be interesting to try to figure out. Then they want injunction. So they want them to basically stop using the name. They want to know the value of the benefit that they have received from the name. Again, this is under Netflix. There's so many titles on Netflix. So I don't know. I don't like it. They're also asking for attorney's fees, costs, and disbursement of the action, and then any relief the court deems necessary and proper. I don't like it, so I'm about to check what y'all got to say. What do y'all got to say, Bri Hive, about this case? So Tanya D says she hadn't heard of the case before today. Deacon Fatal says, I don't think so, but it all depends on the country. I think you guys are still talking about the other case. Dasby says some things are regional. I don't care. I don't know if they're different between PC versions or the app as far as Netflix of whether they're showing the same shows. Yeah, I have no idea. And like I said, I feel like it's going to be hard to show how much money they made off of this one show because you pay a monthly subscription fee. Maybe I don't know enough about that, but it seems like it will be pretty hard. Deacon Fatal says Netflix is weird because depending on the country, you might not get to watch that show. That's true, which comes into the question of how are we going to calculate this? Tanya says, just look the show up. Never heard of it before. I've never heard of it before. I just saw Zac Efron and Netflix being sued. I was like, I didn't even know Zac Efron had a show on Netflix. I didn't even know. We have Deacon Fatal saying, okay, my first question is where was it streamed? Because Netflix also runs on what you watch often. Yeah, I don't know. This case, I can see how they can win. I think Netflix should just settle the case because I can see how they can win, but I honestly don't think that they're using it as a brand identifier. Yes, it's the title of the show, which they can say is a brand identifier, but yeah, I don't know. And then I would like to see the post of him connecting Nature Valley to the show as well, because the sponsorship outside of the show, unless he's like referencing the show in there, I don't see how they're making that tie. A lot of celebrities do endorsements of things that are not connected, right? Dowsby says, just say the abbreviation. I was so tired of seeing that. Down to earth, DTE. Little Galaxy says, new mixes might contain crickets. Maybe nut mixes, new mixes, whatever they want to call it. I always like to, there's always at least, not, let me not say it's always at least, but I feel like every time we stream, there's at least one typo in the documents, which happens, but I think it's funny still. DTE, Data for Insight says, hi everyone, so happy to finally be able to alive again. Welcome back. We have not seen you in a while, so we're happy to have you here. People are doing the greetings. Tanya left our stream for a minute, but we hope to see her later. We have Deacon Fatal says, have they though? Deacon Fatal says, I'm pretty sure someone has watched it. I haven't. I'm pretty sure someone has watched it. Do I think it's a brand identifier? No, but who knows? Who knows? Das V says they want some of that Nature Valley money and probably any brand that was marketed through the show. Wasn't marketed through the show though, because they said it was an Instagram post. They didn't say it was on the show. I would like more information on that for sure. Deacon Fatal says, sounds like an MLM at the start, to be honest. We have an MLM for down to earth. Data for Insight says, I think they charge per view or per length of view, but I thought they charge the same amount every month. So it might be like a pool splitting situation with the money. Like, okay, 50% of viewers watch this show, and then there was like 50% watching other shows. I don't know. I would like to know more about that, but I don't have the time to look into that. Dasby says most shows have product placement. Yes, that's true. Dasby also says movies too. Data for Insight says they'd have to get internal Netflix data to show for sure the watch hours or numbers of views that costs attached for each. I guess they could get that from Discovery. Yes, they will have to get that from Discovery. And so that's why I think it's kind of like a cost pool, a share. So like, let's say you're the most popular thing on Netflix, you may make, let's just use small numbers because we don't have time. Let's say 50% of the people watched this show out of all the hours watched that month on Netflix. Let's say they earned $10,000. And then the next time, only 25% watch it. So they earn $5,000. That's what I'm thinking. It's like kind of like if you put something up on Skillshare, you have to share the revenue to those particular shows, depending on how many people watch your show. Interesting. That would be interesting to know. We need a Netflix expert or that works for Netflix so they can tell us about their accounting. Deacon Fatal says, I don't know if Netflix would settle because they have been losing subs after some decisions they made. Oh, I heard about that too. Netflix has been losing people watching them. This show is not helping, so they might as well take that down. Daz V says, if you see a Coke bottle in a show or a movie or a car brand that's named, it's likely an ad. Oh yeah, because usually they will blur it out. But this particular ad, they say that he posted it on Instagram. So I don't know if that one was through the show. Data for Insights agrees with Deacon Fatal, saying that they likely won't because it will be hard to get that data to prove it. Netflix could say the data is trade secret. They could, but I think it will lean more towards accounting. Now, if it's like the process of how they calculate it, then yes, you could say trade secrets, but just the amount that's owed on it, then I don't think so. Oh, sorry, yawn. You got a yawn coming through. Okay. We have Data for Insight says, I mean, they charge that to the shows they host, not the subscribers. Interesting. All right. And then Deacon Fatal says, I'm glad I don't have to worry about this when I'm too broke to worry about it. I don't. Makes sense. Makes sense. Okay. So that's the Zac Efron case. They're being sued for trademark infringement. It wasn't a lot of shade. There was not a lot of shade. There was not a lot of boasting. Like they weren't like, we're the #1 podcast on health and wellness and blah, blah, blah. They didn't throw any shade in that complaint. So that one was a little boring. I'm sorry for it, but Twitter voted for it. Twitter voted for us to cover that case today. So I'm sorry it wasn't more eventful, but I do think that the next case is going to be a little bit more eventful than this case just was. We are talking about Snoop Dogg. And not only Snoop Dogg, we also have a Bishop Don Magic Wand is also being sued in this lawsuit as well. So I'm pretty sure this one is going to get a little bit more feisty. If you guys have been subscribed to me for a while, and when I say a while, before the Johnny Depp trial, we did cover the second filing on this case. So it might be repetitive for some of you that have watched my previous stream on this Snoop Dogg incident. But if you guys are new, this is going to be new and it's going to be shocking, the things that she's going to be alleging. Now, this complaint is a 65 pages, so we are not reading all the words on this. I probably should have did a brief little overview on this before bringing it up, but I did not. They are mentioning Me Too in here. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just doing a brief little overview right now. Oh, she got a lot of words in this complaint. So we're going to try to cover as much as possible. Oh my gosh. She is trying to make sure she does not get dismissed for failure to state a claim. Oh my gosh. She has about 35 pages worth of allegations. Yeah, we're not reading all of this, but let me know if you guys want access to this later on. Okay, so let's go back up into the case. Let's see what they're talking about. Our good friend, I don't know if it's y'all's good friend, but I'm going to say my good friend Snoop Dogg is being sued by this lady who we are calling Jane Doe because she does not want us to know her identity. But at this point, she has filed this 3 times. Snoop Dogg and Bishop Don Magic Wand, whatever his name is, Bishop Don Magic Wand, they know who this lady is. She has alleged the same facts over and over. They have to know who she is. So let's check it out. Go ahead, if you guys are watching live, let me know if you've seen this case before, have heard of this case before. If you're watching on the replay, also drop in the comment section whether you have heard of this case before. And let me know if you guys have watched me stream the second complaint. This lady is basically alleging that Snoop Dogg and Bishop Don Magic Wand, whatever the order is, SA'd her, and they also trafficked her, basically took her across state lines, basically had her do sexual acts that she didn't want to do. And this is her 3rd time filing this. The other 2 she voluntarily dismissed without prejudice, so she was able to bring this back. All I have to say is she has probably spent a lot of money on attorney's fees trying to get this complaint right and not dismissed for failure to state a claim. So let me know if you guys heard about this. Let me know if you watched my last stream about this. I can't remember exactly when I streamed about it, but it's on my channel. All right, so we have Jane Doe, an individual woman, suing Calvin Brodus, aka Snoop Dogg, individually, and Donald Campbell, aka Bishop Don Magic Wand. We have, what is she suing for? Oops. She is suing for Trafficking Victims Protection Act, conspiracy and violation of 18 USC 1594. We'll see what that is later. She is suing for sexual battery. She's suing for sexual assault. She's suing for violation of Tom Bain's Civil Rights Act. We'll see what that is a little later on. She's suing for defamation, false light. I don't think I remember the defamation claim last time. Okay, defamation, false light, intentional infliction of emotional distress, negligent infliction of emotional distress, unlawful retaliation in violation of California Labor Code, and harassment, aiding and abetting in violation of the government code. And she wants this to be heard in front of a jury. And so over the last couple of cases that we covered in California, they have not allowed media in these types of cases. So if this thing goes forward, I'm pretty sure that we are not going to have cameras in the courtroom. So this lady is suing in California. Let's go ahead and read. Okay, no, we're not going to go through that. The reason why she's not telling her name is because she doesn't want us to know who she is. But if all of these incidences that she's alleging actually did happen, I'm pretty sure Snoop Dogg and the bishop knows who she is. So let's see. We have facts common to all causes of action. At all times, material, plaintiff was and is a female residing in the state of California. Throughout plaintiff's career, plaintiff has worked as a professional dancer, model, actress, host, and spokesmodel for Muse Inc. Festival, Comedy Central, and CNN. For several years, plaintiff worked for, was employed by, was transported by, and performed with defendants Snoop Dogg and Campbell, as well as with other rappers who toured with defendant Snoop Dogg, such as Weston Fry, Little Nate Dogg, Corrupt, Sugar Free, and Warren G. During these performances, plaintiff was working for defendant Snoop Dogg and Campbell, who employed her as a dancer on stage as part of their concert. Now, this is going to be interesting to figure out if she's considered an employee or an independent contractor. Might go into some of the claims that she is claiming. Defendant Snoop Dogg is the owner, agent, officer, and proxy for many business corporations and entities, which include the ownership and production of music, videos, media, shows, and concerts. Oh, that's a difference. This time she did not name his LLCs. In the last one, they did name the LLC. She's now only suing them individually. So that's a difference from the last one that we covered. Sorry if this is making y'all dizzy. So some of the stuff is going to be the same. I'm already seeing some of the similar paragraphs as I'm scrolling quickly. All right. Snoop Dogg has created, produced, broadcasted, and profited from a web video series which was uploaded on YouTube called GGN, Snoop Dogg's Double G News Network. Plaintiff obtained exposure as a dancer for defendants, which allowed plaintiff to obtain sponsorship, modeling jobs, and event hosting jobs. Many of these sponsorships and modeling jobs were also distributed nationwide. And so that is where she's getting the trafficking. She's basically like, you put a video up of me on YouTube where people were able to see me, probably in a sexual manner, and they were able to ask you, and I might be going a little far here, but if I remember correctly, ask for her to be flown out for whatever videos and things like that. But we haven't got there yet, so don't quote me on that. Okay. Defendant Snoop Dogg and Campbell knowingly compensated plaintiff through sponsorships, modeling jobs, transportation, event hosting, and future business with defendants when they hired and or allowed plaintiff to perform at their shows and concert. So it sounds to me like this girl was not getting paid. She was being paid in exposure and not in money. And now it seems like she's not quite happy about that situation. So they didn't pay you, sis? I don't know about, that's not a good business move. Okay. Defendant Campbell, an agent, employee, and proxy for defendant Snoop Dogg. Is Don Juan an agent of Snoop Dogg? I would like to see her prove that. told plaintiff, Snoop wants you here. This will make you go viral, and this is for your career. By doing this, defendant Campbell indicated that plaintiff will be compensated for her work for defendants and that she will be working for defendants at shows and concerts from which defendants profited. I would like for her to let us know the year, because if I remember correctly, this stuff happened a long time ago. And if she hasn't been paid by now, sis, I don't know what to tell you. Defendant Campbell is a self-proclaimed and former pimp, or a man who controls prostitutes and arranges clients for them, taking part of their earnings in return, and creates fear in women. Defendant Campbell, in reference to the girls who worked for him that got out of line, he explained, you have to create fear. Let me read this correctly, because we are talking about Bishop Magic Don Juan. I'm probably saying that wrong, but that's okay. You have to create fear in that female. You have to tell her that if she do something wrong, that you going to kill her. And you have to instill this into her to when she do something wrong and you whooping her and checking her, that she says to you, Daddy, please don't kill me like you said you was. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Defendant Campbell is defendant Snoop Dogg's spiritual advisor and someone who defendant Snoop Dogg has looked up to and aspired to be for much of his life. Defendant Campbell has an agent for defendant Snoop Dogg, or defendant Campbell as an agent for defendant Snoop Dogg, and with defendant Snoop Dogg's knowledge and approval, engaged in and conspired in a common scheme and enterprise, recruiting, enticing, providing, transporting, soliciting, and forcing plaintiff and individuals similarly situated to plaintiff with the intent that plaintiff engage in sexual activities with defendants Snoop Dogg and Campbell in exchange for access to employment with defendants. It sounds like they are not paying you, so I don't know if this is employment. Including but not limited to dancing and appearing on defendants' concerts, promoting defendant show, hosting defendant shows, and appearing on defendant shows such as GGN. For decades, plaintiff Snoop Dogg and Campbell conspired and engaged in this pattern of practice of sexually harassing, forcing, recruiting, enticing, transporting, soliciting, and harboring females trying to work in the music industry, including singers, rappers, and dancers seeking professional opportunity from defendants. This is a lot going on. Let me know if you guys remember some of this stuff from the last stream. Let me know what you think so far. This sounds like a lot. It sounds to me like they weren't actually paying the dancers, but they were exposing them for future gigs, I guess, to work on other sets. Maybe she'll get a little deeper into it, but right now I'm kind of like, girl, what's going on here? You're talking about appearing on a show in order to be seen as a model and the dancer for other shows. I don't know about that. Let's see what else they have going on here. We have at all times material, defendant Snoop Dogg and Campbell produced, hired, operated, and organized their artists, including defendant Snoop Dogg and Campbell's concerts, shows, performances, and videos that were distributed nationwide. In addition to this, plaintiff received gifts and compensation from Snoop Dogg and Campbell, other rappers, and other affiliates or sponsors in exchange for performing on stage and dancing with them at their shows. Okay, so she did get some money. I spoke too soon. She did get some money. All right. Let's see what the chat is saying so far. That was her opening statement, letting us know that she was a dancer for them. So let's see what's going on in the chat. We have Deacon Fatal saying TMZ just be knowing stuff for no reason. Deacon Fatal said, well, if she's working with Bishop Don Juan, you said he was a pimp, self-proclaimed pimp, right? Data for Insight says, if that's the case, how can she sue because she willingly did it? Unless she can prove he forced her, I'm guessing there's no contract. Probably no contract in this situation. She would have to prove that he forced her. And like I said, if I remember correctly, this was years and years and years ago. And we're dealing with people that allegedly does drugs, does alcohol, all of these things. They probably don't even remember this girl, to tell you the truth. I don't know, allegedly, in my opinion, but it's going to be very hard to go over this stuff, and it's a civil claim. So it'll be interesting where she goes with this. Data for Insight says, whoa, that went off the rail fast. As they do when we're talking about pimps and hoes. Always going off the rails. We have Deacon Fatal responding to Data for Insight saying, absolutely not. Paperwork with a pimp. This is going to be a stream. This is going to be a stream. We're definitely getting a yellow flag, if not a red flag on this one. A known former pimp. Paperwork isn't going to happen, and that is just from some LE experience. Data for Insight says, I didn't know the pimp part. Should have waited. Yep, he's a pimp. So got to keep him in line. Alicia Matta says they're trying to RICO them like Kels. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to get into some of the essay allegations on this. Deacon Fatal says, fun fact, the character from the Boondocks, a pimp named Slickback, was based on Bishop. I'm sure. Yeah, it was. Data for Insight says, oh. I think your reactions are going to really get me in this live stream. Alicia says, no one wants exposure as opportunities anymore. They want money. Yeah, that happens. That still happens till this day, especially influencers and other people that's trying to do similar work. Deacon Fatal says, now I'm not sure why she didn't go to the feds on this if trafficking is the issue, because that could be a RICO charge off top. Because she probably didn't have enough people join her in her allegations. And she's probably going to have a hard time proving this. Like I said earlier, this is her third time filing this complaint. So she hasn't been able to allege it properly in a civil case. Maybe if she had some federal agents, then maybe they could help her. So maybe it might be a good idea for her to contact them. But the trafficking that she's alleging is her most likely voluntarily going on a YouTube channel where she danced. And then people probably called to say, hey, I like that model right there. Can you send her to my music video? So she's saying she was forced to do some sexual stuff a little later on. But as far as dancing on the YouTube channel, that sounds like it was voluntary, unless they broke her and she had no choice but to consent to it. I don't know. Tony D said basically she was a video hoe. C superhead. Basically, and now she's suing. In my opinion. Data for Insight says, what about status of limitation? You mean the statute of limitations? I don't know what they are on a civil case like this. I don't know what they are off the top of my head, to tell you the truth. Dabs is laughing. Mr. says, I thought Bishop died. No, he should still be alive. Mr. CKB says, how old are these brothers? How and why are they still in the mix of this foolishness? Allegedly. If I remember correctly, she is alleging this from like 2003, if I remember correctly. So they were in the foolishness, still in their prime, because I think Snoop Dogg is like 50 something, if that. Let me see how old is Snoop Dogg? It'll pop up quick. Yeah, Snoop Dogg is only 50 years old. So if this was in 2003, if I remember correctly, I'm sure they're going to start giving us some dates. Then he would have been like 30 years old during this time. So he wouldn't have been that old. How old is Bishop? Let me see. And he's Don Juan is 71. So he is a little old. Yeah, he would be a little bit old in this. Okay, let's see what else is going on in this case. Because like I said, this is a long complaint. It's 65 pages. So she got a lot to say. Defendant Snoop Dogg's history of SA, harassing, threatening, and retaliating, and unconscionable acts against women, which deterred plaintiff from bringing her claims earlier. So she's going to explain to us why she took so long in bringing this claim against Snoop Dogg and the bishop. If you guys are watching live or on the replay, go ahead and hit the like button. Help us out in the algorithm. Let's get some more friends in here, and let's make YouTube recognize the Bri Hive. Okay, let's go. Defendant Snoop Dogg has a long history of sexually abusing women, retaliating against them, and threatening them when they complain about his unlawful conduct, and terminating employees who object to his unlawful conduct. The history demonstrates a pattern of sexual abuse, reckless indifference to the rights of others, and retaliatory threats and conduct when others object to unlawful conduct. This further supports punitive damages and is admissible under federal rule 415 as evidence of defendants' prior sexual assaults and their propensity and thus sexually assault plaintiff. Basically trying to say he's done it to other women before, so you guys should believe that he also did it to me. But I don't think he has any convicted cases of doing that. So that would be interesting, whatever she's going to allege here. It also demonstrates that in keeping with defendant Snoop Dogg's pattern of conduct, he is likely to retaliate against and possibly harm plaintiff for exposing his sexual battery and abuse, and thus warrants plaintiff's continued anonymity. Why can I not say this word? Keep her anonymous. Furthermore, to the extent Snoop Dogg takes any retaliatory action against plaintiff Jane Doe, plaintiff hereby claims retaliation for exercising her rights as stated herein. It is anticipated that Snoop Dogg will sue plaintiff Jane Doe for extortion, just as he did Kylie Bell in an effort to intimidate her. Plaintiff claims unlawful retaliation in the event of such a lawsuit. So she's basically trying to say she's staying anonymous so that Snoop Dogg doesn't retaliate against her and then sue her, and then she basically won't have enough money to defend herself or to put on this case. Defendant Snoop Dogg has often referred to himself as a pimp. We talking about pimps again. For example, in an interview with Rolling Stone magazine, defendant Snoop Dogg said in 2003, I put an organization together. I did a Playboy tour. I had a bus follow me with 10 B's on it. I could fire a B, F a B, get a new hoe. It was my program. Hello. Interesting to walk in on, huh? It's gonna go city to city, titty to titty, hotel room to hotel room, athlete to athlete, entertainer to entertainer. I get a couple of their players to come hang out, pick and choose, and whichever one you like comes with a number. Basically, he charges for the girls. A lot of athletes bought P from me. I dreamed of being a pimp. Allegedly, this is what Snoop Dogg has said in 2003, which makes her believe that he was a pimp and that he has a propensity to do SA and harm women sexually. Okay. Around January 28, 2005, an award-winning makeup artist, Kylie Bell, filed a lawsuit against Snoop Dogg, claiming that on January 31st, 2003, she had been drugged and that Snoop Dogg had armed her. Bell was told not to report the incident to police because Snoop Dogg was a gang member and that he would send someone to kill her if she reported the incident to the police. These are the allegations for Miss Kelly Bell. Around December 10th, 2004, in an attempt to further intimidate and prevent Miss Bell from filing her rape lawsuit against defendant Snoop Dogg filed his own retaliatory preemptive lawsuit against Bell, claiming extortion. Around January 2014, 3 of Snoop Dogg's bodyguards filed a complaint against Snoop Dogg, alleging that they were not being paid for overtime in violation of the labor code. What? Snoop Dogg terminated them in retaliation for their complaint. So they're basically I guess she's trying to establish that he retaliates whenever you're doing something he doesn't like. He's going to do something to end up hurting you, i.e. fire you, i.e. sue you, things like that. Interesting. Okay. Defendant Snoop Dogg also once threatened the female rapper Iggy Azalea. Now I said what I said, B. Now let it go before I go all in on your pink punk A, yeah, you B word. And say, B, you're effing with the wrong N word. And your N word better check you before I do. You effing B, yeah, you effing C. We'll call it a C here. So she's basically bringing up some other stuff that he did apparently on the Breakfast Club. He asked, do you look back at some of your old lyrics, or someone asked him, do you look back at some of your old lyrics given the climate of what's happening today with women's empowerment? And Snoop Dogg responded by saying, nope, hell no. That was me. F them hoes. F them hoes, straight up, F a B. I'm just saying that's me back then. At the time I was making that music, that's who Snoop Dogg was. I cannot change that. Around February 2020, after an interview, Snoop Dogg threatened Miss King's safety by saying, I want to call you one funky dog-haired B. How dare you try to tarnish my mother effing homeboy's reputation, punk mother effer. Respect the family and back off B before we come get you. Are these really things that Snoop Dogg has said? Because this sounds like a first grader trying to cuss as hard as they can, but apparently they're saying this is what Snoop Dogg said. Also goes on to say that Snoop Dogg supported Bill Cosby by posting Free Bill Cosby. Also in his concert, he said, girls, do you want me to make you famous? Then get down both knees, B word. What else has she alleged in this complaint? She basically says that Snoop Dogg engages in a pattern of practice of sexually assaulting women, threatening women, and retaliating against those who go against him. I'm just trying to go through it because these are a lot of allegations. We go back to 1993, saying Snoop Dogg was arrested and charged with murder of a rival gang member who was allegedly shot and killed by Snoop's bodyguard. Okay, so now we're going to murder. In July 1993, Snoop Dogg was stopped for a traffic violation and a gun was found by police during the search of his car, basically trying to establish that he's a scary person. In February 1997, Snoop Dogg pleaded guilty to possession of a handgun. Around October 2006, after being stopped for a traffic infraction at Bob's Hope Airport in Burbank, Snoop Dogg was arrested for possession of a firearm and for suspicion of transporting an unspecified amount of marijuana. What else do we have here? The following month, after taping an appearance on The Tonight Show, defendant was arrested again for possession of marijuana, cocaine, and a firearm. That's a lot. And on April 2007, Snoop Dogg was given 3-year suspended sentence, 5 years probation, and 800 hours of community service after pleading no contest to 2 felony charges of drug and gun possession by a convicted felon. Around April 26, 2006, defendant Snoop Dogg and the members of his entourage were arrested after being turned away from British Airways first class lounge in England because some of the members of the entourage were flying in economy. After being escorted outside, the group got in a fight with the police and vandalized the duty-free shop. 7 police officers were injured during this incident. So she's basically bringing up everything and a bag of chips to try to prove how bad Snoop Dogg is. So what do you guys have to say about what is going on here? We have Hella Swanky saying Snoop been getting away with his behavior for a while now. Well, he's gonna keep getting away with it if she keeps having to refile. Data for Insight says, yeah, I'm mostly wondering why go the civil route and bear the cost of it when you land at a place to speak up about it. But you are right, Sham is big and seeking help would be outing herself, right? Exactly. Deacon Fatal says, I'm going to be honest, and this is just my opinion. This sounds foul as poo. Yeah. Are you talking about the things that she's alleging or the things that she's alleging Snoop Dogg did? If he did it, is it foul? If he did it, sure. But some of the stuff, she's just like, okay, he did this to this person and this to that person and this to that person. So that means he did this to me. I want you to believe me. We haven't even got into her allegations yet. She just gave us a whole list of things that he did to other people. Red herrings. That's what I like to call it. Data for Insight says it would be bold to make up this quotes and put them in the record, especially with the names of folks they were said to attach. Yeah, so the thing is, it was probably like said on TV. I'm sure that he actually said these things. It just comes off as he doesn't know how to curse very well. And that's a lot coming from me because I don't be cursing. Deacon Fatal says people still do cocaine. I think they said it was a couple years ago. I think they said 2007, right? Tiny D says the type of sexually inappropriate behavior was normal back then with most of those rappers. Just watch the old video, see Nelly's tip drill video. The thing is that I understand that argument, and a lot of people don't like that argument, but in my opinion, from what I could see, a lot of the girls that participated in the music video lifestyle and all of the things, they kind of knew that was the nature of the environment that they were going into. Does it mean it's right? No, but I definitely agree with Tiny D. Is like, you went there for a reason, knowing that these things happen. Now, when you start drugging people at parties and things like that, okay, that's beyond it. But going to a party knowing that you're not going to be paid, it's gonna, at some point you're gonna have to be like, okay, they're just using me for, you know, a good shot in their video or whatever it might be. So sometimes I don't feel that bad for some of the situations that people put themselves into, because it's kind of like, okay, you probably know why you're going there. So sometimes I don't feel bad. Now, let's say you was the DD just hanging out with your friend and somebody drugged you and then sold you on a plane or something like that. Okay, I'll feel bad for you. But you're actively going to dance on their show. You're actively going to try to be in the music videos. You're actively going to the parties after hours, things like that. Not saying it's your fault, not blaming the victim, but it is like during that time, people knew what the industry was, and you could have avoided it if you really wanted to. So I see where you're coming from there. Dasby says she needs document evidence, though. Yeah, it's going to be hard to prove these things, especially since it's so long ago. Tanya D saying, not saying it's right, but it was. And that's what was going on. And a lot of times people knew that was going on. You can't then get mad 20 years later because you didn't get paid for it. So I don't know. Some of the stuff does come off as voluntary to me, but who knows? Mr. Case or CKB says it's nothing like a wordy complaint. You would think these attorneys know that a judge actually have to read this stuff. I wish they just get to the elements of the cause of action. Exactly. But the thing is that she's trying to make it seem, she wants the judge to believe that Snoop Dogg is bad, because all of this stuff has nothing to do with her. It's just stuff that he's allegedly done to other people, and the stuff is alleged all the way from 2003 up to 2020. So over a course of 20 years, he's done all of these things, and it's like, okay, what does this have to do with you, right? All right, so let's go ahead and pop back into the complaint, see what's going on here. She brings up Me Too, and we see what happened to the last person that brought up Me Too, Amber Heard. It didn't go well for her. So let's see if it's going to go well for her. Me Too, #MeToo witnesses who were subjected to similar conduct to attempted rape, assault, battery, sexual harassment, enticement, harboring, solicitation, transportation, and recruitment by defendants Snoop Dogg and Campbell. In order to protect other victims who were strong enough and brave enough to come out and share their story, their names will remain anonymous. So again, you're alleging anonymous things. Something that someone who we do not get to know said these things. Hard to prove. Very hard to prove. They're going to remain anonymous. Snoop Dogg cannot retaliate against them. He basically they complained of assault, battery, trafficking, and attempted rape. Plaintiff hopes that this will encourage others who Snoop Dogg has scared and deterred from coming forward as a result of conducts and action he has taken, which is described above in Section 1. Plaintiff believes that there are many other victims who have been subjected to this pattern. Goes on to say, it is imperative that these witnesses remain anonymous, emphasizing the fact that she is not going to tell us who these people are. The fact that these witnesses are too afraid or were too afraid to come out sooner, just like her, and share their stories only further illustrates that Snoop Dogg's conduct all above prevented them and scared them from doing so. These witnesses are also relevant to plaintiff's claim that defendant should be equitably stopped from asserting any applicable statute of limitations. So I don't know what the statute of limitations is off the top of my head, but it sounds like it applies here because she's bringing up the fact that, oh, we didn't file earlier because we were scared that he was going to retaliate against us. Okay. And says below, the victims were inspired to share their story and no longer be silenced, but they're anonymous. Like I said, hard to prove. They're saying Me Too witnesses, it's allowed because in civil case involving a claim for relief based on a party's alleged SA or child molestation, the court may admit evidence that the party committed any other sexual assault, child molestation. So here are the stories of the Me Too people. Number one, in the early 1990s, a woman who will be referred to as number one Me Too and several other men at Popeyes restaurant in Los Angeles. The group invited Me Too number one to the studio where defendant Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre were recording music. Me Too number one was standing next to a pool table. Defendant Snoop Dogg walked up to her, grabbed her hair, forcefully pushed and bent her down over against the pool table and pushed her head into the pool table in front of all the other individuals in the recording studio. He held her down by her hair. Snoop Dogg forced his hand up her skirt and pulled down her underwear. He then pulled out his male genitalia out of his pants and attempted to R her, who felt his male genitalia touching her skin. At that point, fortunately, Dr. Dre yelled, "Stop, leave her alone." Sorry, my scrolly is not working very good, so I'm sorry that it's hopping around like that. Number one was terrified and humiliated, pulled up her underwear, and left the studios in tears. She would have been R'd but for Dr. Dre's intercession. So you telling me that Dr. Dre had that much control over Snoop Dogg to make him stop if he wanted to do it? I don't know. I know everybody says, like, believe all women, but I don't believe her. Sorry. It's too much. Okay. Number one, to this day, suffers from depression, sleepless nights, and post-traumatic stress. She is forever grateful that Dr. Dre saved him from being gang raped by defendant Snoop Dogg and the other men that watched in the studio. They then jumped down to number three. They skipped number two. Around the same time in 2005, number three attended a party in Los Angeles and her friends were leaving. They met Snoop Dogg and his close friends, an associate Big Percy. After this, number three and her friends agreed to meet up with Big Percy and Snoop Dogg again at a hotel. Okay. While they were there, Big Percy told three, "Snoop Dogg thinks you're pretty. He wants you to go into the room with him and give him a massage." The thing, if these things are true, Snoop Dogg is married. Like, what is going on? Why do people do that? If these things are true. Okay. Thinks she's pretty. Then goes on to say, Campbell overheard number three rebuffed the sexual advance, recruitment, and enticement and said, "Girl, why you gotta be so square?" Okay. Number three then went to the bathroom. Number three was urinating. Defendant Campbell opened the door, turned off the lights, and closed the door behind him. Number three screamed and said, "Oh my God, turn on the lights." She immediately got up from the turned the bathroom lights back on. Number three saw that Campbell was walking towards her with his pee out of his pants, attempting to force, entice, and or coerce number three into performing oral on him. She tried to move around Campbell so she could leave the bathroom, but he kept moving back and forth to block her path. Number 3, screamed, "Get out of my way," and finally escaped the bathroom. She then told her friends, "We need to leave because Bishop just exposed himself to me." Who talks like that? Why is this in quotation marks? He just exposed himself to me. They left the hotel. So I don't know. I don't think that's accurate, but it was from 2005. So they don't remember exactly what they said. What do you guys think so far? I see some chats coming in. KTB says, "I'm only meant to have the rolling eyes." Okay. C, how does she know it was going to be a gang rape? Exactly. And Dr. Dre said stop, so then Snoop Dogg just stopped. If he was set on doing that, he probably would have did it despite whatever Dr. Dre says. Data for Insight says, "I guess Dr. Dre would need to be deposed." The thing is, this stuff is from like 1990. Even if it did happen, do they even remember if they always had all of these girls around? Come on. I don't know. To substantiate the claim, but I'm confused. These are still events about others. Yes, we have not gotten into what she's alleging just yet. Not her cause of action or what happened to her. Exactly. We're talking about other people. And so this stuff, this was not in the last complaint that we went over. So these Me Too people came forward to help out her story now. So Data for Insight says, "I'm kind of lost." Yeah, we're still talking about other people. We're not talking about her yet. Upside Down, welcome back to the live stream, saying Snoop would be singing in a different key if that had been me. We never know. Little Galaxy says, "Regret sex, not rape." Regret being in those situations. Because like I said, a lot of these people, they want to hang out with celebrities. So they're going there thinking that they're going to have a good time. And then the good time turns not so good for them. I don't know. I don't want to say because, we weren't there or whatever, but some of the things are like, okay, you went back to a hotel with men that were probably under the influence. Is that a good idea? Like when people say, "Oh, you're asking for it because of what you're wearing." No, not exactly. But sometimes in the men's mind that are on drugs and things like that, not making excuses for them, they might think that you're asking for it by showing up. Is that right? Absolutely not. But does it happen? And is it known that these types of things happen at these parties? I would think so. I've never even been to the party and I feel like I know that's what happens there. But I digress. I feel like I'm gonna get a lot of hate comments on this one. KDB says, "Not a good one." Alicia said he peed, then tried. No, apparently he just pulled it out while she was peeing and then tried to get, yeah. Okay. Deacon Fado says, "I don't doubt this happened, but this is literally a music script." Yeah, it could have happened. The thing is, are they going to believe the people? And is it going to be, were you not a willing participant? How much of it did you consent to? That's going to be the question. Deacon Fatal says the girl would remember, but them probably not. That's what I said. If these people are doing this all the time, how would they even remember in order to testify? And maybe that's what they're relying on, for people to not remember what happened. So, boom, let's go back into it. Defendant, sexual assault, trafficking, recruiting, harboring, enticing, soliciting, and transporting plaintiff. So we're finally getting into her actual allegations. Around May 29, 2013. Okay, so this wasn't 2003. It was 2013. So Snoop Dogg would have been in his 40s. If he was really doing all of this stuff, like, I don't understand how his wife, like, I understand being married to a superstar, but I do not have time for this nonsense. Whatever he had going on was too much to be being married, in my opinion. Around May 29, 2013, during the period when plaintiff performed for defendants, she and a friend attended one of Snoop Dogg's show at Club Heat Ultra Lounge, a nightclub in Anaheim. While there, plaintiff and her friend entered the VIP room where they ran into Bishop. That night, in line when defendant's common scheme and joint enterprise, defendant Campbell invited plaintiff and her friend back to join him and Snoop Dogg at Snoop Dogg's recording studio. Again, we're going back to these studios. Plaintiff and her friend, there's a typo there, agreed to join them. Defendant Campbell transported plaintiff and her friend to the studio. So they got in the car with Bishop. After midnight, plaintiff friend left. The friend left, but not her, because defendants made her feel uncomfortable and unsafe. So why did she not go with friend? We don't know. Plaintiff was now alone with Campbell and Snoop Dogg. Campbell offered plaintiff, I can take you home or I can take you back to my place with me. She asked Campbell to drop her off at home. Shortly after plaintiff left with Bishop, who was Campbell, she fell asleep in the car. When she awoke, plaintiff was still in the car with Campbell. After a short time, they arrived to Campbell's home. Despite plaintiff's request to be dropped off at her home, too exhausted to argue or get home by herself, plaintiff fell asleep in Campbell's home. About 4 a.m. that morning, plaintiff woke up to Campbell turning her body over to face him. Campbell then removed his pee from his pants, put it in plaintiff's face, then repeatedly shoved it into her mouth. Campbell's pee was flaccid and he was forcing his pee into plaintiff's mouth. After some time, Campbell not only not able to obtain an erection, turned away from plaintiff and left her alone. She didn't think to move. Okay, let's not victim blame. All right. Campbell leveraged his relationship, employment, and agency of defendant Snoop Dogg to place himself in position of power and authority over plaintiff, which enabled him to force plaintiff into sexual acts. Because plaintiff worked for Campbell, he thought he was entitled to SA her. Campbell SA'd plaintiff because he viewed her as one of his prostitutes and property, whom he could SA with impunity. Campbell believed he could, and he did SA and batter plaintiff because he provided her with other work with Snoop Dogg, work which defendants profited from. Campbell thus discriminated against and harassed plaintiff because of her sex and gender. So this is one of the allegations, that they did these things to her simply because she was a female. Campbell SA'd, sexually harassed, SA'd, and battered plaintiff. Subsequently, and again, she doesn't give us any detail. The only detail she just gave us of him trying to shove his flaccidness into her face, but she's also claiming that he did other acts to her, but she's not giving us a description of what these other acts were. So it'd be hard for them to even know what to testify to. Subsequently, Campbell told plaintiff, here, put this dress on. Plaintiff was not feeling well and replied, can I sleep? I don't feel well, but he insisted and aggressively stated, put the dress on. Let's go to Snoop's videotaping. I want to see if he will make you the weather girl. Snoop wants you there. He implied that plaintiff did not have a choice and urged plaintiff, Snoop wants you there. Let's go. This is a career move. Plaintiff complied in hopes of advancing her career. Snoop Dogg told defendant Campbell to bring plaintiff back to the studio. Weather girls, and they're going to explain to us what the weather girl is, typically models, play well-known roles in GGN, which is Snoop Dogg's YouTube channel show. Usually scantily dressed or in bikinis, they dance and they describe the weather. Defendant Campbell had the ability to bring actresses and models onto the show. So she went because there was an opportunity for her to be on the show as the weather girl. As other similarly situated women have described, it's common for Campbell to leverage his relationship, employment, and agency with Snoop Dogg to place himself in a position of power and authority over women in order to enforce them to engage in SA with him or sexual acts with him and defendant Snoop Dogg. Campbell has additionally instructed women to wear specific outfits for him, which he found to be more attractive and thought that Snoop Dogg would find more attractive. So he's basically doing his job as far as dressing them and styling them and making sure that they look good for the video. But she's also alleging that with this power, he is forcing them to do other things. That would be wrong. But having them wear certain outfits for their job, which is a video girl, and you know that the job for the weather girl is to be in a bikini, and him telling you to put on a certain bikini or a certain dress, I don't think that is that wrong. I don't think that's wrong. I think he's doing his job. But forcing you to do other things that you're not giving us a lot of detail about, that would be out of the scope of his employment, right? Okay. So, and I'm also finding it interesting that she basically removed the liability of Snoop Dogg's LLCs and his other companies and calling Bishop a employee, or that he was working for Snoop Dogg and doing this, and doing a individual liability now versus kind of a conspiracy liability. But they're still using the same arguments as that were in the other lawsuit or the other complaint that she filed. Okay. Campbell and Snoop were aware of encourage and allow each other and engage in use and profit of compelling women to engage in sexual acts in exchange for employment opportunities. Did you not know this thing though? Defendants profited from GGN as they received revenue from its millions of worldwide viewers and posted content that included these women on the internet and social media service such as YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Snoop Dogg and Campbell's Weather Girls generate revenue and viewership for defendant Snoop Dogg while providing potential source of income, exposure, career advancement. I think she's making the case for them, because she keeps saying career advancement. They did it for the income, things like that. She's making the case. So you were performing these things in order to get paid. So technically, you were doing it voluntarily, from my understanding of what she's saying. So I think she's making their case for them. The Weather Girl position is what Campbell told plaintiff she had the opportunity to get, which would be kind of the main girl, basically. Saying it's a career move. We have Campbell's statement showed that he and Snoop Dogg not only obtained revenue and profited from the girls. Defendant Snoop Dogg and Campbell continued to use these women as weather girls or dancers for their show, were aware of what these women were forced to do in order to obtain employment, and allowed this conduct to continue while profiting from the revenue and viewership that the women generated for them. The revenue and viewership defendants received as worldwide as much revenue from the viewership and content. And that's where she's getting into the trafficking by saying, since people were viewing all over the world, that was basically trafficking them out, and then also calling them to do videos. Campbell, in furtherance of the scheme and joint enterprise of recruiting and enticing women to have sexual relations with himself and Snoop Dogg in exchange for employment opportunities, told plaintiff what to wear so that defendant Snoop Dogg will be more attractive to plaintiff. You've said that like 20 times. Basically, in short, it was defendant scheme, joint enterprise, and common practice to pimp out, prostitute, or exploit females interested in working for defendant and Snoop Dogg and himself, thereby affecting interstate commerce. This affected interstate commerce because defendant Campbell attempted to pimp out, prostitute, and or women like exploit plaintiff in exchange for career opportunities on GGN and interstate earning revenue through the nation for defendants. She's just kind of repeating everything that she's saying. So basically, to be a weather girl was to be a prostitute, and she wanted to be a weather girl. And that's why she put on the dress, so that she can have an opportunity. Plaintiff continued having, they go on to say, okay, this is another thing that she's going to allege. Where we go? She put a lot in between there. Okay, so basically, plaintiff had a stomach ache. She complied with Campbell's demands to put on the dress he had ordered her to wear in hopes of attaining the weather girl position. They arrived at the recording studio where Snoop Dogg filmed GGN. While waiting for production to begin, plaintiff made eye contact with Snoop Dogg, who leered at her and undressed her with his eyes. Okay, that's an allegation. Plaintiff continued to have stomach pains and went to the bathroom while she sat on the toilet. Snoop Dogg opened the door, another bathroom incident, to the bathroom and shut it behind him, walked up to plaintiff with his crotch in plaintiff's face, removed his pee from his pants, grabbed plaintiff's shoulder and ordered plaintiff to put it in your mouth. Plaintiff panicked and terrified and recalling Snoop Dogg's criminal history. During this time, she was thinking about Snoop Dogg's criminal history. Alleged gang affiliation and previous rape allegations, feared for her safety, future, and retaliation, and so reluctantly complied with his lewd instructions. So she did it because she was thinking about the fact that he has all of this criminal background and that he's gang affiliated. So basically, if she did not do it, she was in danger. And so he did not threaten her during this time. He did not say, put it in your mouth or I'm going to shoot you. He didn't say, put it in your mouth or I'm going to kidnap you. He didn't say any of that. He just said, put it in your mouth. But she remembered his gang affiliation. I don't know if this is flying as force to me because you thought that he was going to do something to you when he had never done anything to you before. It's a stretch for me. It's a stretch for me. Okay. After a few minutes, defendant Snoop Dogg withdrew his pee from plaintiff's mouth, visibly dissatisfied with plaintiff's reluctant performance. Snoop Dogg proceeded to masturbate and ejaculate on plaintiff's upper chest and lower neck. And so you just sat there. Snoop Dogg stated, "I'll be back. I'll get you something to clean up with," and exited the bathroom, leaving plaintiff humiliated and still fearful for her safety. Snoop Dogg never returned to the restroom and left plaintiff humiliated and terrified. Snoop Dogg was aware that plaintiff was at his studio to obtain GGN Weather Girl job. Snoop Dogg instructed defendant Campbell to bring plaintiff there. Campbell said, "So the Snoop wants you there." Snoop Dogg was aware of, encouraged, and partook in this pimp out and an exploitation scheme and joint enterprise and had instructed defendant Campbell to bring plaintiff to his studio to perform the sexual acts in exchange for hiring her. I don't know. They would have profited from having her as the weather girl. Okay, she goes on to say she was embarrassed, abandoned. She had to clean herself up in the bathroom sink and exited the bathroom. Plaintiff turned right and locked eyes with Snoop Dogg, who once again leered at plaintiff. Plaintiff feared for her life and job security and walked away, but she did not leave. Plaintiff then went into the production room, lied on the couch, broke down, and cried. Ted Chung, a friend of defendant Snoop Dogg's friend and one of GGN's producer, walked into the room with several other people to discuss the script for the show. Mr. Chung then told plaintiff to leave the room. Plaintiff left the room and sat with Bokeem Woodbine next to the green screen. She's basically trying to put names in there so that they can have more people to talk to about this stuff. I don't think they're going to remember this. Shortly after, Campbell spotted plaintiff, waved her, insisting, "Come here, take a picture with Snoop." Plaintiff was mortified, embarrassed, and fearing for her safety, walked over to Snoop Dogg and stood next to him while Campbell took a picture of them. Snoop Dogg told Campbell, "Make sure you bring this one back." Plaintiff then left. I thought that he was unsatisfied with her. Okay. Snoop Dogg failed to hire plaintiff as the weather girl because she refused to willingly, enthusiastically give him oral to Snoop Dogg and was unable to give him, make him finish. I think she's just taking a bunch of stuff that happened and just trying to throw it in a box and say this is why he did those things. But at no point is she alleging that she was threatened to do anything. It sounds like to me, and this is my opinion, and you guys can throw your opinions in the chat when you're ready. It sounds like to me a situation where someone was trying to sleep their way to the top and that they didn't get to the top. So now they're blaming the men, because at no point she's saying that, "Oh, they forced me to do this. They forced me to do this." But she's not giving any indication of them forcing her to do it. She's just saying that, "Oh, if I didn't get it, I wouldn't get this job. If I didn't get it, I wouldn't get this dancing part. If I didn't do it, then this." But at what point did they tell her that if you don't do this, we're not going to put you in the video? It sounds like she thought if she did these things, then she would become the star of the video or whatever it is, become the weather girl, whatever she was trying to do. But I'm not seeing any facts of them saying, "Oh, if you don't do this, this is what I'm going to do." Let me know if you guys are seeing that. But from what I'm reading, I don't see that. It sounds like someone trying to sleep their way to the top and it didn't work out. I don't know if a judge is going to like this. Okay. Said he failed to hire her as the weather girl. Did they ever put you on the stage to see if you can beat? I digress. Okay. She didn't get hired. She was emotionally overwhelmed. She felt violated. Defendant's conduct was directed and intentionally harmed plaintiff. I don't know if I saw that there. They harassed her, they assaulted her, they battered her, they discriminated against her because of the fact that she's a female. I'm not feeling it. Okay. Defendant Snoop Dogg, most recent acts and threats of intimidation, coercion, harassment, retaliation, defamation, false light, and intentional infliction of emotional distress given rise to the cause of action 5 through 10. Plaintiff and defendants attempt to resolve this dispute via private mediation of protected activity. So you just told me in February 2022, you guys tried to resolve it. So how are you anonymous? Did you not show your face during the negotiation? I'm confused. Okay. Immediately after mediation ended, in direct retaliation for plaintiff's complaints of SA and S battery, and in an effort to intimidate and threaten plaintiff, Snoop Dogg posted the below image on his Instagram, calling plaintiff a gold digger while including emojis of a judge and a police officer threatening, harassing, and retaliating against plaintiff by insinuating that he will take similar action against plaintiff as he took against Miss Bell by threatening plaintiff with criminal prosecution and extortion. The post basically says, gold digger season is here. Be careful, nephews. Keep your guards up and keep your circle small. That sounds similar to a post that Chris Brown posted after someone alleged him of R-ing them as well. At least the one that alleged Chris Brown, they did it immediately and they didn't wait 10, 15 years. Snoop Dogg thereby threatened plaintiff with criminal prosecution or a lawsuit for extortion as he brought against Ms. Bell in the past and harassed plaintiff because she had complained about his sexual harassment, assault, and battery. As a result, Snoop Dogg threats to retaliate against plaintiff. Okay, she just keeps repeating the same thing. This Instagram post was also used to threaten, intimidate, and coerce plaintiff into not exercising her constitutional right to engage in mediation, make these complaints, and file a lawsuit, therefore violating Tom Bain's Civil Rights Act. Oh, whoa. Moreover, Snoop Dogg, through his Instagram post, which has since been deleted, has violated California Labor Code by retaliating against plaintiff for her complaints of sexual harassment, assault, and battery. I think she's going to have a hard time proving that she was an employee. That's because she keeps saying that he's retaliating against her for the harassment and things, but I think it's going to be very hard for her to prove that she was an employee. What do you guys think? Do you guys think she was an employee? I don't know. I feel like she was probably an independent contractor. Snoop Dogg's pattern and practice of threats, retaliation, harassment, intimidation, unsurprisingly did not stop there. Around February 11th, 2022, through the Snoop Dogg's counsel, Snoop Dogg threatened to file an additional lawsuit against plaintiff, stating he will pursue a malicious prosecution action against your client and your firm, seeking tens of millions of dollars in damages. Said threat was in direct retaliation for plaintiff's claims and complaints of unlawful sexual harassment, assault, and battery. Plaintiff's first lawsuit was filed on February 9, 2022. Snoop Dogg authorized and instructed a spokesperson to release a statement to journalists with Mediate.com on February 11, 2022, which stated the allegations by Jane Doe of sexual assault by Calvin Brodus, known as Snoop Dogg, are simply meritless. They appear to be a part of a self-enrichment shakedown scheme by Jane Doe to extort Snoop Dogg. Jane Doe's schemes involves concocting a legal complaint as an anonymous Jane Doe plaintiff and knowing full well it can be a public document, filing this complaint late Wednesday, only 3 days before the Super Bowl. In the complaint, Jane Doe manufactures an occurrence of more than 8 years ago in 2013 for her false allegations. Jane Doe's shakedown scheme is disgraceful. Her attempt to use the courts to advance the scheme is shameful too, and does a disservice to real victims who deserve to be believed. This is what she's calling a defamatory statement. And I don't think this was in the last filing, if I remember correctly. After this statement revealed plaintiff's name, her counsel released a statement condemning defendant's brazen release of her name as another example of Snoop Dogg's practice of shaming, threatening victims. Okay, so when I saw that, I was like, oh, they must have used her name. I'm going to go try to find the article. But I was like, oh, well, maybe they just put Jane Doe because they use like her and she and things like that. But if they use her actual name, we may be able to figure out who this is. What do you guys think? Do you guys think we should try to find this article to see who this person is? I think I might. All right. Her attorney then says sexual assault victims are allowed to proceed anonymously for their own protection, but they know who they are. Snoop Dogg already knows who you are. Courts allow pseudonyms when necessary to protect the privacy of rape victims. The public general has a strong interest in protecting the identities of SA victims so other victims will not be deterred from reporting such crimes. These laws also protect the safety of a SA victim. We believe this is especially true when defendant has a criminal history, but he knows who she is because you guys went to mediation. I'm not going to read all of this stuff of them talking mess about he shouldn't have put that out there. Plaintiff's statement noted, despite plaintiff having redacted her name, as is her right in a pending lawsuit and the protection of law affords her and other similarly situated victims of a sexual harassment and assault, defendants explicitly continue to intimidate, threaten, scared plaintiff and other victims sexual harassment. There's a lot of poor grammar in this complaint. There's a lot of poor grammar. So she goes on to still talk about how they did all these things to her. They harassed her, intimidated her, threatened her, all of the things. Let's see what else. She keeps talking about him being a gang member. Talks about the Iggy Azalea statement again. They go ahead and requote the spokesperson statement. Let's see what else she got. There's a lot of repetitive stuff and a lot of grammar issues here. Okay. So that's pretty much all we have for the factual allegations on this case. That took us an hour to get through. So yay for us. A lot of the stuff was her really repeating what was said. It kind of made me mad. I'm going to go back and watch my other video and see if that one made me mad as well, because to tell you the truth, this complaint to me feels retaliatory. Now, were they probably aggressive with her? Probably. But are they also aggressive to everybody that are in those situations? Also, again, probably. I don't see anything in here where they threatened her that if she didn't do something, then this will happen. I didn't even see anything in there that says, if you don't do this, you're going to be done as a dancer in the industry. I didn't see anything that said that. So I'm really confused about how and when she was forced to do these things. Like, did they come in there with a gun in their hand? Like, I'm not seeing when they were forced. I'm not seeing when she was forced. She just basically admits that she did sexual things with the bishop and that her career didn't go the way that she wanted it to go. That's what I'm getting from the complaint. Let me know if you guys are getting something different from the complaint, but that is basically what I'm getting. I'm going to go ahead and go through some chats, and then we can go ahead and end the stream so I can go eat and have some fun. Or not have fun, but I probably got to work after this, but so I can go eat. Okay, Data for Insight says not to bring MM into this, but this sort of ring familiar right now. Using patterns of behavior to argue X happened to me while it being able to provide supporting evidence of the X happened to me part. Exactly. Most of her complaint was about what happened to other people. And then when she got into what happened to her, she said, oh, I was forced to do this. I was forced to do this. But she presented no evidence of force. The only force that she experienced was, okay, if I don't do this, then I'm not going to be the weather girl. If I don't do this, then I'm not going to be the star of the video. But there is no allegation that they were telling her, if you don't do this, you won't go forward in your career. Now, if she has allegations like that, maybe she'll see this video and she'll get on the stand and testify to something like that. But as far as this complaint goes, she's just saying, oh, they forced me to do it. Okay. How did they force you to do it? I know you just have to plead facts enough to show that you stated a claim, but you're just saying force, but there's no indication of force here. It sounds like you were trying to level up your career and then this happened. And maybe I'm just against the industry girls or something like that, because I feel like I gave the same analysis on the Chris Brown case. And I'm pretty sure I gave the same analysis on this case when I covered it on the second time she filed the lawsuit. And I also think that she has filed the lawsuit so many times because she can't get her allegations right. She cannot get her allegations right. Okay, Mr. CKB says, by the way, I'm not a Snoop fan. I'm still upset over what he did to our buildings. Not quite sure what you are referring to there. Upside Down says, agreed, I should write a book. The things I've seen would make your head spin. Dallas B says, I would like to know what he did to your building. Oh, here we go. Mr. CKB says, New York song in the video, Snoop and the Dog Pound was kicking down the buildings. It was a reference that the old East Coast, West Coast thing. Okay. Little Galaxy says disgruntled worker. Mr. KC or CKB says 90s era. Okay. Era. Sorry. Data for Insight says, Boss Bri, you said exactly what I was thinking, but I was feeling bad for thinking it and not giving her a chance. Yeah, it just I'm missing what she's alleging here. She's not pleading the facts for me. Let's see if a judge thinks this was pled enough, but I'm not seeing where she was forced. And a lot of times what she did is what some of the girls in the industry do in order to get ahead, and hers just happened to not work. And that's the vibe I'm getting from it. Now, if she comes out with more evidence of how she was forced and things like that, then sure, because her friend was able to go home because she felt uncomfortable and unsafe. Why did you not go with your friend? Sounds like you were trying to get, into the mix. And then ever since that time came, you were into the mix, sleeping at Don Juan's house all the time. That's weird. But then I digress. I feel like if somebody does something to you bad one time, why would you keep going back? Not to victim blame. It doesn't sound like he was holding her there against her will. If he was, let us know. But right now, it doesn't sound like he was holding her against her will. So you were voluntarily there. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. I would like for her to prove me wrong. Tanya D says, Bria's getting feisty again. I love it. It's been a while since Feisty Bri, right? Upside Down's laughing. Data for Insight says, curious, how do you directly link the post to her case? Like, what sort of evidence would establish that? Because the post is general. Yeah. And I feel like Chris Brown did a similar thing. And so she is linking it to her. Let's see. She's basically saying he subtweeted her. Let's see when it was posted. I can see how you can draw the inference that it was about her, though, because he's calling her a gold digger because she's trying to get some money. And it was the day after the mediation, or the same day, honestly, of the mediation. But he wrote it at 3 a.m. What was he doing at 3 a.m? What was he doing? So first of all, let me put this back on screen. If this is accurate. Oh, that's his. I was like, she screenshotted it as soon as he posted it. Never mind. He typed this at 7:03 in the morning, and I think she said the mediation was the 8th through the 9th. So I can see how she can tie that to her case, honestly. It is a general post, but I can see how she feels like it's about her. Hello Swanky says, I like Feisty Bri. Well, you guys got it. I'm not understanding her allegations here. It's not connecting for me. It's like they try to bring in the Me Too stuff, and then it's like, we do not side with you because you're Me Too. You're watering down actual victim stories, because to me, these allegations, they don't come off to me as she's an actual victim. And that's just my opinion. Data for Insight says, so you can easily identify her based on that. Yes, I can see how you can draw the inference that it was about her. Because to me, these allegations, they don't come off to me as she's an actual victim. And that's just my opinion. Data for Insight says, so you can easily identify her based on that. Data for Insight says, so you can easily identify her based on that. based on her name in the article. I need more context. Data for Insight says, I Googled the article and they didn't name her. Okay. They probably removed it since she complained. Upside Down says they collect phones at private parties. Otherwise, there would be evidence. Snoop has predatory reputation. Easy prey. And I'm not opposed that he probably did do some stuff. The thing is, was she forced or was she there willingly? That would be the question. And that she now regrets it. Now, if she was forced, then she has a case. But from what she alleged, I do not see that she was forced. And easy prey, because a lot of the girls that are in the industry to want to be a dancer, to want to be a model, to want to be these video vixens, they want these things. And a lot of times they're naive. So they go into it. But at the same time, not saying that they should do something to you but because you want to be a vixen or whatever you want to call it. But at the same time, you're kind of putting yourself into that position because they want those jobs. Like she said, if she didn't do it, she wouldn't get the job. It doesn't seem like anybody told her that, but her mindset was that. And I feel like there are a lot of women in that industry that think like that. And it's sad. And hopefully they don't feel that way anymore. You don't have to do those things in order to get your job. Or I'm not in the industry, so I don't know. Maybe you do have to do the things, but there's other ways to make money. Mediating with Love says, as movements like Me Too bring modern day ideals into legislation for needed change, many that have long past statute of limitations are hindsight suing. Groupies were groupies until CA sexual harassment codes. Yeah, I see what you're saying there. And so now it's a way to bring it forward. Now, are we going to agree that she was forced? I'm still not convinced she was forced. I put my hands up. I'm not convinced. She can prove me otherwise. I would love for this thing to go to trial to see what evidence she has, but she's already retracted this lawsuit 2 other times. I would not be surprised if she does it again. Data for Insight says the timing of the complaint to be around his Super Bowl performance is interesting. I agree with that. I can see this will get attention to it if well argued. B, he is easy praise, so that will make people talk. Or that he was going into a Super Bowl and that he didn't want the controversy, so he would just pay her to go away. That's probably what he's alleging. Callie Tangerine, welcome back to the live stream, saying hi, Bri, and hey, Bri Hive, welcome back. Hello, how are you today? My dad says, feisty Bri, good rant, good sense. Tanya saying hi. Upside Down saying parties start after performance. 3 a.m. is early. Snoop is easy prey. He established his own rep. The girl should know the score by now. Not a new thing. And the thing for me with her is you keep going back. You keep going back. It sounds like she was just sleeping at Don Juan's house. That's what it sounds like. And so he was forcing her and assaulting her, but still there's no allegations of how it was forced. It just seemed like she was sleeping at his house. Maybe I missed some things in reading that, and maybe she didn't like him that much and she did it with him and she regretted it. That's more of the vibe that I'm getting here. Of course, when more facts come out, maybe it will change. My mind will change. It can change. But from these allegations, no. Nope. Meditating with Love saying, looking forward to her facts to back it up. Me too as well. Okay. Mediating with Love says, if she has any of her own that can be verified. Exactly. We just went down the rabbit hole of talking about what happened to everybody else. We even talked about him being arrested for guns. Were there any allegations that he held a gun to her head or had a gun in his back pocket or had a gun with him when he did these things to her? No. So where are we going with this? Where are we going with this, lady? I'm not seeing it. I would love to see it. If these things did happen to you, I would love to see it. We got R. Kelly. Now, R. Kelly. Now, I believe those ones. For sure. I binged watched that his documentary when I was probably supposed to be studying in law school. But that one I believe, Bill Cosby, I believe, but a person that keeps going back and you keep wanting to advance your career and no one's telling you if you don't do this. He did say it's a career move. This is a career move. But that doesn't mean, oh, if you don't, if he said this is a career move, he wants you there. He didn't say this is a career move. You need to go there and you need to suck his stuff. And then you'll get the job. I didn't see that allegation. Please prove me wrong. I want to be on her side. I want to be on her side. Upside Down says, right, Bri, she didn't get the gig and now she feels like she was used. You were, girl. Hello. Yes. Yes. Now you feel like you were used. You're, in my opinion, it seems like she's upset because the closest person she could get to was Bishop Don Juan, right? And so she had to engage in intercourse with this old man, because this was 2013. They say he's 71 right now, so he will be 61. I could only assume that she's a young girl, so she's engaging in this activity with this older man, and it's probably not satisfying, and she's not happy about it. Who knows? Maybe, let me not say extra stuff because we are on the internet, but some stuff was going on. She wasn't enjoying it and she still didn't get the job. That's what it feels like to me. It seems more like regret than actual force, because you wanted this position. If they were threatening her saying, but even that, okay, you're not going to be able to dance with us if you don't do these sexual acts. I don't know if that's force. You can just be like, okay, I guess I'm not being in your music video. Let me go down the street and try to find a different music video. That's, there's other people that will hire you. But it sounds like you wanted the exposure. You wanted to increase your career. That's what it sounds like to me. I could be wrong, but that's what it sounds like to me. All right. So we have data for insight saying, so the SA could be maybe they drugged her, etc., while she was at the house. Yes, but she doesn't say that. She did not say that. She absolutely did not say that he drugged her. If she said that, yes, he forced you. He wasn't supposed to do that. He took advantage of you. But she didn't say that. I think she might have insinuated it because she fell asleep in the car on the way to his house, and then he ended up taking her to his house when she has to go home. Maybe she's insinuating that, but she has not outright alleged that. He took her to his house against her will. He let her go to sleep around 4 p.m. or 4 a.m. He woke up and tried to get with her. She said he just kept repeatedly shoving his pelvis into her face. And at no point did she say, I tried to move. He grabbed me and forced my face there. At no point did she say any of those things. That would make it forced. He tried it. You didn't reject it. So he probably thought you were cool with it. Now, if you told him no, and then he just grabbed your face, different story. But I'm not seeing those allegations here. The trafficking, I still don't get, because she talks about going to the jobs like she's doing it voluntarily. Exactly. She's calling it trafficking, but she wants to be the weather girl, which she is alleging is the trafficking, because if you go and you be the weather girl, then you get exposure, and then other celebrities invite you onto their videos, which means you're getting more jobs and you're getting paid more, but you're calling it trafficking, but you're voluntarily going on the show and you want to be the main girl on the show. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. I'm sorry. You can't say, oh, I'm going on the show to get recognized so I can get another job, but at the same time, that's also trafficking. But I want another job. She wrote her case into the ground, in my opinion. I don't agree with it. Let me know what you guys think. That is all we had for the rants for today. I'm glad that we covered this case last, because I did not think I was going to get that feisty about that case. I want to go back and watch my last coverage of her second complaint and see if I got that feisty. I think I've noticed a lot more in this complaint than I did in the last one. I'm probably just, commentary online, just kind of getting a little bit better at it. But this was definitely a case. Zac Efron was not that eventful, but this one was very eventful. So I hope that you guys enjoyed the live stream. We will be back on Thursday at 4:30 Pacific Standard Time. Remember, we have just covered the complaint. So these are just allegations that have not been proven to be true. And we still have to have Snoop Dogg and Don Juan respond to the allegations. Same thing with Zac Efron and Netflix. They still need to respond to their allegations and have their day in court if they choose to do so. So do not take anything I say as, dead set. Those are the facts. That's everything. But for the most part, these cases were interesting, and I hope to see you guys on Tuesday. Have a good evening. I'll catch